Good day, listeners. We're going to spend a little time with the three popular ballad operas, Maritana, the Bohemian Girl, and the Lily of Killarney. And we'll begin with Maritana, by Waterford-born William Vincent Wallace, because this was the opera that set me off on the opera trail when I was a schoolboy of 12 or 13. I heard excerpts from it performed by a small touring company in my own town of Clonmel, and I simply couldn't resist those catchy tunes, one better than another. Tunes, for instance, like the Angelus chorus, which comes early on in the first act. How I loved that chorus when I first heard it sung by the little touring company of which I was telling you, and which included a sweet-voiced Dublin tenor, Harry O'Delsey. Years later, I saw a complete performance of Maritana given in Clonmel by the O'Mara Company. I knew the company were in town, and I assumed rightly that the tall and portly stranger I saw coming out of a pub in the main street on Monday morning while I was on my way to work belonged to the opera brigade. There he was in a dirty overcoat, sauntering along the street with a bottle of stout cocking out of one pocket and a bunch of onions out of the other. Early on in the opera, a tall, stately-looking character attired in black silk with plumed hat passed by the assembled crowd, one of whom asked a neighbour, "Who is yon stranger?" Only to be told, "Hush, it is the king." And so it was. It was also our friend of the bottle of stout and the onions. His name, by the way, was John Ebler. He was a Dutchman, and he was a fine bass singer. You might like to know that Wallace had a very adventurous life. He married a Dublin lady, but left her for her sister when the three of them voyaged to Australia. There he played the violin for the governor, for which he was paid a fee of 100 sheep. He narrowly escaped being killed by savages in Tasmania, and escaped again when the native crew mutinied on a whaling voyage, only Wallace and three others getting away with their lives. He crossed the Alps on a mule, and he just managed to survive when a steamboat blew up, and that's not the half of it. I've had two requests for something from our third ballad opera, The Lily of Killarney. So here, from the Connolly family for Auntie Eileen, and for Sissy Walsh, William Street, Clonmel, is Hedel Nash singing Eileen Mavourneen on another rare pre-war 78.
cruelly blighted all the fond hopes of thy innocent heart. Soon in a holier region united, thy limb abhorred in we never shall part. Soon in a holier region united, thy limb abhorred we never shall part. Soon in a holier region united, thy limb abhorred we never
The English lyric tenor had Nash singing Eileen Mavourneen from the Lily of Killarney, which was composed by a German, Julius Benedict, who spent most of his life in England, where he was knighted for his services to music. I mentioned the old-time songs a few minutes ago, and we're going to have one of the best known of them for our first request, which comes from a listener in Urban Terrace, Rock Street, Tralee, who tells me that the programme is the highlight of her week. A longish time ago, she says, you played Paul Robeson singing Thora, and I'd love to hear it again. Well, as I said, it's one of the best known of the old-time songs, and it made a lot of money for Stephen Adams, who composed it. He was right at the top of the Victorian songwriters, and Thora is a good example of his compositions. Here it is now, sung by Paul Robeson on a pre-war 78.
stand in a land of roses, but I dream of a land of snow, where you and I were happy in the years of long ago. Nightingales in the branches, stars in the magic skies, but I only hear you singing, I only see your eyes, I only hear you singing, I only see your eyes. Come, sweet Thora, come once again and be child of my dream, light of my life, angel of love to me. Child of my dream, light of my life, angel of love to me. Angel of love to me. I stand again in the Northland, but in silence and in shame. Your grave is my only landmark, and men have forgotten my name. 'Tis a tale that is truer and older than any the sagas tell. I love you in life too little, I love you in death too well. I love you in life little, I love you in death too well. Speak, speak, speak to me, Thora, speak from your heaven to me. Child of my dream, love of my life, of my world to be. Child of my dream, love of my life, hope of my world to be. Hope of my world to be.
Paul Robeson singing Thora by Stephen Adams. John McCormack sang some of the Stephen Adams songs in London in the early years of his career, and he was suitably impressed when Mr. Boosey, the music publisher, told him one day that Mr. Adams had written a song specially for him. Well, along came the imposing figure of the composer. He was well over 6 feet tall, and the pianist Samuel Liddell played the new song Brown Eyes. When it was over, Mr. Adams turned to McCormack. "Well," he asked, and John gulped out, "I think it's awful." "You are a very impertinent young man," said the composer, as he stalked to the piano, picked up his song, and walked out in all the wrath of outraged majesty. Later, Mr. Boosey told John that he should have been more tactful, but John just couldn't see it. "Hang it all," he said, "it was an awful song." In response to a letter from a Dublin listener, Rita O'Brien of 43 Sheridan's Court, Upper Dorset Street, who tells me that she'd like me to play the Mexican song La Golondrina, the Swallow, for her mother, Mrs. Alice Buckley of 76 Offaly Road, Cabra. She asks for a recording by a particular singer, but I'm not going to play that one, simply because, although it's good enough in its way, it just isn't in the same class as the recording by the Spanish-American baritone Emilio Gigli. In the song, the exile compares his lot with that of the swallow, flying far away from the land of its birth through rain and storm. Goodbye now until next week, and here is Emilio Gigli singing La Golondrina.
Desgarrado sintió, ya en la vega de perder la de vista, con débil voz tu tormento expresó. Al partir de Granada, tu corazón desgarrado sintió, y allá en la vega de perder la de vista, con débil voz tu tormento expresó. Marción de amores, celestial paraíso, nació en tu seno, y virditas gocé, yo ya partí a lejanas regiones, ay, nunca más te veré. Marción de amores, celestial paraíso, nació en tu seno, y virditas gocé, yo ya partir a lejanas regiones, ay, nunca más te veré.
That last record played by Tommy O'Brien was La Golondrina, and it was sung by Emilio Gigli.
betraut. In Dunde uns zu heute flaut.
That duet from the Johann Strauss operas at the Gypsy Barn was sung by the Viennese tenor Werner Kren and the German soprano Renate Holland.
Ogni sera di sotto il mio balcone sento cantare una canzone d'amore. Più volte la ripete un bel garzone e battere mi sento forte cuore e battere mi sento forte cuore. 'Tis ora, 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 'tis
come me gradita. Io la carti non voglio, mamma mia, vorrei saper perché me l'ha proibita. Ella non c'è ed io la vo cantare, la frase che m'ha fatto palpitare. Vorrei baciare i tuoi capelli neri, le labbra tue e gli occhi tuoi severi. Vorrei morir per te, angel di Dio. Oh, bella innamorata, esordio, qui sotto il vidi ieri a passeggiare.
The young Giuseppe Di Stefano singing Musica, proibita. It's the
der Heimat möcht ich wieder nach dem teuren Vaterort, wo man singt die frohen Lieder, wo man spricht ein trautes Wort. Eure Heimat sei gegrüßt in der Ferne, sei gegrüßt in der weite Ferne. Eure Heimat sei gegrüßt. Mein Schicksal will es nimmer, durch die Welt ich wandern muss. Braucht es heim, dein denk ich immer, braucht es heim, dir gilt mein Gruß. Eure Heimat sei gegrüßt in der Ferne, sei
That nice little German folk song, Greetings to the Homeland, was sung by Arno Schellender. Rosa Murphy of Blackrock, Dundalk, asked me to play it for her Uncle Philip and Aunt Eileen. And I'm also playing it at the request of Mrs. G. Gallagher, Royal Oak Road, Bagnallstown, for Tom O'Leary, Bagnallstown. Goodbye now, until next week, and here's John McCormack singing the Tom Moore song.
If all those endearing young charms which I gaze on so fondly today were to change by tomorrow and fleet in mine arms like fairy gifts fading away, thou wouldst still be adored as this moment thou art. Let thy loveliness fade as it will, and around the pure ruin each wish of my heart would entwine itself verdantly still. It is not while beauty and youth are thine own, and thy cheeks unprofaned by a tear, that the fervor and faith of a soul can be known, to which time will but make thee more dear. No, the heart that has truly loved never forgets, but as truly loves on to the close, as the sunflower turns on her god when he says the same look which she turns when he rose.
And I've selected a record by the Swedish tenor Jussi Björling, which we've never had on the programme before. One that he made when he was only 19 years of age. The voice then wasn't as big as it later became, but it was a very appealing, youthful quality. Goodbye now, and here is teenager Jussi in a Swedish version of Toselli's Serenade. I've had a letter from Tom Welsh, 3 Upper Bride Street, Wexford, in which he says, "Sometime last year you played some Offenbach music and included a favourite of mine sung by John McHugh, which I didn't know was from an Offenbach operetta, The Goldsmith of Toledo, and which I hadn't heard since the 1950s. I'd be grateful if you'd play it again for me." And so I will. It was a very popular 78, this attractive serenade, which John McHugh sings in English. John McHugh singing the serenade from Offenbach's operetta The Goldsmith of Toledo. Another request, this time from a County Clare listener, Michael Nolan Kilkee. Would you kindly oblige by playing a record for me? A beautiful old waltz in the light opera lay close to Cornwall by Planquette, which appears in the Ouverture. I first heard it on the gramophone perhaps 50 years ago. On a few occasions in later years I heard it on the radio, but it was always in the vocal version, and I prefer the orchestral version if you can manage it. I can indeed, although this recording of the Ouverture is on an early LP and suffers from some surface flaws. The Ouverture to the French light opera Les Cloches de Cornville by Planquette was played on that record by a Parisian orchestra conducted by Jean-Claude Hat. And now, how about doing a bit of singing yourselves? I've just the song for you, My Hero from the Chocolate Soldier. So, off you go with the American baritone John Charles Thomas.
shall discover her heart is mine and mine alone. We pledged our troth each to the other, and for our happiness I pray our lives belong to one another. Oh, happy, happy wedding day. Oh, happy, happy wedding day. Come, come, I love you only, my heart is true. Come, come, my life is lonely, I long for you. Come, come, not can face you, my arms are aching now to embrace you. Thou art divine. Come, come, I love you only. Come,
The American baritone John Charles Thomas singing My Hero from the Chocolate Soldier. And I do hope that lots of you joined in the chorus. Good evening, listeners. We're going to have 3 American songs in the first part of the program, beginning with one sung by the American baritone John Charles Thomas, who is a great favourite with many listeners. A few weeks ago, when I played you his recording of the Negro song My Lindy Lou, I said it was a fine example of what a great singer could do with a simple little song. Now, listen to John Charles Thomas singing the cowboy song Home on the Range, in a way I think that you've never heard it sung before. Very expressive singing, with the voice getting gradually softer and softer as the cowboy rides off into the distance.
The buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. How often at night, when the heavens are bright with the light from the glittering stars, have I stood there amazed and asked as I gazed if their glory exceeds that of ours. Oh, give me a land where the bright diamond sand flows leisurely down the stream, where the graceful white swan goes gliding along like a maid in a heavenly dream. Then I wouldn't exchange my home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Where the deer and the antelope word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.
The American baritone John Charles Thomas singing Home on the Range, which I played for Willie Livingstone, Carrickduff, Bunclody, County Wexford. As I told you, it was one of his top-selling records, but when he made a recording of another enormously popular American song, The Bluebird of Happiness, he was beaten to the top place by another famous American singer, the tenor Jan Peerce, who died recently at the age of 80. He sang for a number of years at the Metropolitan Opera House, New York. He was a favourite of the great Italian conductor Toscanini, and his recording of The Bluebird of Happiness was a genuine chart topper. I'm playing the record at the request of a listener in Dungarvan, County Waterford. Sorry she had to wait for it so long, but that's the way it happens sometimes.
The beggar man and the mighty king are only different in name, for they are treated just the same by fate. Today a smile and tomorrow a tear, we're never sure what's in store. So learn your lesson before it is too late. So be like I, hold your head up high, till you find the bluebird of happiness. You will find greater peace of mind, knowing there's a bluebird of happiness. And when he sings to you, though you're deep in blue, you will see a ray of light creep through. And so remember this, life is no abyss. Somewhere there's a bluebird of happiness.
The poet with his pen, the peasant with his plow. It makes no difference who you are. It's all the same somehow. The king upon his throne, the jester at his feet, the artist, the actress, the man on the street. It's a life of smiles and a life of tears. It's a life of hope and a life of fear. A blinding torrent of rain and a brilliant burst of sun. A biting, tearing pain and bubbling, sparkling fun. And no matter what you have, don't envy those you meet. It's all the same. It's in the game, the bitter and the sweet. And if things don't look so cheerful, just show a little fight. For every bit of darkness, there's a little bit of light. For every bit of hatred, there's a little bit of love. For every cloudy morning, there's a midnight moon above. So don't you forget, you must search till you find the bluebird. You will find peace and contentment forever if you will be like I. Hold your head up high till you see a ray of light and fear, and so remember this: life is no abyss. Somewhere there's a bluebird. Of happiness.
The Bluebird of Happiness, sung by the American Jewish tenor, the late Peerce. And now, if you don't mind, back we go 71 years for a recording of a song, Carry Me Back to Old Virginny, which was the very first record made in the USA by a famous singer, which sold 1 million copies. The song was composed by an American Negro, James Bland, and the recording was made by Alma Gluck, a Romanian-born lyric soprano who came to the USA as a child. She was a typist for some time, and after studying singing, she made her professional debut in 1909, after which she was engaged for the Metropolitan Opera House, where she sang for some years. But she was mainly a concert singer, and her records of favourite songs by Stephen Foster and others sold in great numbers all over America. Here she is, singing Carry Me Back to Old Virginny on the 71-year-old record. And when you hear it, I think you may understand just why it sold 1 million copies.
Cotton and the cold,
Alma Gluck singing Carry Me Back to Old Virginny. And I hope you agree with me that the sound was quite remarkable, considering that the recording was made in November 1914. Not a trace of distortion, and the voice as clear as a bell. Before we have a few more requests, some cheer you up music. And what better to cheer you up than the sparkling last movement of Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, a little night music. Mozart's A Little Night Music was played by the Stuttgart Chamber Orchestra conducted by Karl Münchinger. A County Dublin listener, Kathleen Donnelly of 12 Woodbine Park, Blackrock, says she'd like to hear again the recording by the great German baritone Heinrich Schlussness and his daughter Anna May of a favourite German folk song which we had on the programme a couple of years ago. I'm only too pleased to oblige. Lovely singing of one of the nicest of all the German folk songs. How can I leave you, you that I love with all my heart? Here is a little flower called Forget-Me-Not. Take it and think of me who can never forget you.
denk an mich, still, fromm und Hoffnung gleich, wir sind an Liebe reich, denn die stirbt nie bei mir. Das glaube mir. Wär ich ein Vögelein, wollt ich bald bei dir sein. Scheut Falk und hab ich nicht, flög schnell zu dir. Schöss mich ein Jäger tot, will ich in deinen Schoß. Sähst du mich traurig gern stirb ich da.
The father-daughter team of Heinrich and Annemarie Schlossners singing a favourite German folk song on a rare recording which I'm very fond of. Just as Walter Whittle was one of the most famous oratorio tenorists. I'm pretty sure he often sang with Isabel Bailey in Messiah, but I'd like to let you hear him in one of my own favourite numbers, If With All Your Hearts, from another oratorio, Mendelssohn's Elijah. Goodness knows how many times I've played this pre-war recording at home. Beautiful melody, Walter Whittle's rich warm voice and stylish singing, they never fail to charm me. If With All Your Hearts from Mendelssohn's Elijah, sung by the Yorkshire robust tenor Walter Whittle, about whom my old friend the late Michael O'Higgins once told me an amusing story. Not so long before he died in 1949 at the age of 57, Walter was singing in Verdi's great opera Aida in Dublin, and he found the high-lying Verdi music a bit tough. All went well enough in the first act, but it wasn't easy when he came to belt it out in the role of the returning triumphant Egyptian army leader in the second act. He did his best, but after one particularly strenuous bit of singing, Michael, who was singing the chief baritone role and who was standing beside him, heard Walter mutter, "Oh Lord, I'm banjaxed. This is the last bloody Verdi I'll ever sing." Very rare and unusual pre-war 78 recording of the famous Welsh tenor Ben Davis singing a favourite old-time song, "I Know of Two Bright Eyes." And what's unusual about it? Simply this, that Ben was 76 when he was persuaded to make the recording by one of his friends in a gramophone company. I'm playing the recording for a good friend of mine, Liam Kavanagh, a Clonmel man living in Cork. And I hope you'll find it as remarkable as I do, as an example of singing by a 76 years old.
I know of two bright eyes watching for me. I know of two white arms waiting for me. I know of cheeks that burn to greet me when I return. Oh, Mira, oh, Mira, I soon will come to thee. I know a tender heart weeping for me. I know of two red lips praying for me. I know of paradise, a haven from tears and sighs. Oh, Mira, oh, Mira, I soon will come to
I Know of Two Bright Eyes, sung by the great Welsh tenor Ben Davis at the age of 76. I'm sure you must have noticed the marvellous clarity of his diction. Every word as clear as a bell. That was a hallmark of the old times. Two Galway listeners, Mary Heffernan and Molly Hyland, would like to hear something by Beniamino Gigli. And I've chosen the very tuneful Italian song Musica proibita, forbidden music. It's a love song which a girl sings, although her mother forbids her to sing it. A young man hears it, says it makes his heart beat madly, and that, in fact, he has fallen in love with the singer. Goodbye now until next week, and here it is.
sento cantar una canzon d'amore. Io volete la ripete un bel garzone e battere mi sento forte il cuore e battere mi sento forte il cuore. Oh, quanto è dolce quella melodia, oh, com'è bella, quanto m'è gradita, ch'io la cara chi non vuol la mamma mia, vorrei saper perché me l'ha proibita. Ella non c'è ed io la vo cantar la frase che m'ha fatto palpitare. Vorrei baciare i tuoi capelli neri, le labbra tue e gli occhi tuoi severi. Vorrei morire con te alla gela di Dio, oh, bella innamorata, tesoro mio, qui sotto il vidi ieri a passeggiare e lo sentiva al solito canatore. Vorrei baciare i tuoi capelli neri, le labbra tue e gli occhi tuoi severi.